Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday service, and a special welcome to those of you joining us for the first time. So we will begin our service with the ringing of the kanshō, followed by the chanting of Jusege.
最主役な 所悪道集団で衆門高僧上万毒いよろじぽ1月主時期天候音符下一種解放像公正苦毒法上大集中説法ししく供養一切部具足習得法元年秩序満国威三害よ余分無下地通断未不詳願学営利投資最小損志願や国家大戦王冠の国書天に当陳妙見ナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブがにしくどく平等性祭の本もないしおうじょあんなこナマンダスナマンダスナマンダスナマンダスナマンダスナマンダスナマンダス。
We will now have the reading of three treasures, followed by Sankyemon.
Namandabts, namandabts. Three treasures. Hard is it to receive a human form. Now we have received it. Difficult is it to hear the Buddha Dharma. Now we hear it. If we do not receive awakening in this life, in what life shall we do so? Let us reverently take refuge together in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. Together with all beings, may we attain the great way of enlightenment, awakening to the supreme intent of the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. Together with all beings, may we enter the storehouse of Dharma, acquiring wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. Together with all beings, may we become united at the great assembly, being free of all bondage. Hard is it to encounter the supreme, profound, and wondrous Dharma, even in 100,000 million kalpa. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true intent of the Tathagata. Sankyemon. Ninjin ukegatashi ima sudeni uku. Buppo kikigatashi ima sudeni kiku. 好み根性に向かってどせずんば、さらにいずれの章に向かってか好みをどせん。大衆もろともに指針に参謀に消えし立て祭るべし。自ら仏に消えし立て祭る。まさに願わくは衆生とともに、大道を体現して無常用を起こさん。自ら法に消えし立て祭る。まさに願わくは衆生とともに、深く教蔵に入りて知恵海のごとくならん。自ら僧に消えし立て祭る。まさに願わくは衆生とともに、大衆を通りして一切無限ならん。無常人人未明の方は、百千万号にも愛おうことかたし、我今検問し従事することを得たり、願わくは如来の真実義を下し立て祭らん。Namandabts, namandabts, 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 namandabts.
Now we will have a Dharma message by Reverend Takata.
Would you please join me in Gassho? Venerable Ananda, rising from his seat, beheld the majestic radiance of the world-honored one, amazed with a rare feeling of wonder emerging in him. He realized he had never witnessed such radiance before. Namandabs, namandabs, namandabs. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for attending our Dharma service today. I'd like to welcome all of you, and a special welcome to those who are attending our Dharma service for the first time. Ever since our Ohigan, we have reopened our temple with in-person services. It's a wonderful thing that we can hear the chanting of the sutra, reciting the readings, and especially Onenbutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, from attendees at this temple. So if we are comfortable attending the service in person at this temple, please let us know. You are always welcome. It has been over 2 years since the beginning of the pandemic. As I reflect upon what was going on 2 years ago, around this time, many people started purchasing extra toilet paper and water bottles. I remember parking lots of grocery stores were filled with cars without any parking spaces. When I went to the grocery store, I somehow found a parking spot, but there was no shopping cart or basket. The store was full of customers but empty of toilet paper, water bottles, hand sanitizers, etc. Each customer was limited to a number of those supplies because there were not enough in stock to match the high demands. That day, I remember that I gave up, went back home, and purchased some toilet papers via Amazon.com. One of the residents in the area I lived at that time purchased a lot of extra toilet papers, water bottles, cleaning stuff, etc., even though the stock available was very limited. So needless to say, he was criticized for his selfish action by many people because he was not supposed to buy more than one for each item. After he drove home, he set up a big table in his yard and started putting all the items he purchased from the store, such as toilet papers, water bottles, etc., on the table. He then made a sign that says, "My neighbors, especially elders who cannot go to the store, please feel free to take any necessary items for you." And this story appeared in the local newspaper. Although he was criticized for his selfish behavior at the store by many people, he was also praised for his selflessness. Thus, we live a life dictated by our self-centered eyes, in which we favor some people. Our truth or justice, based on our self-centered eyes, is constantly changing, depending on our conveniences. As Shakyamuni Buddha revealed the truth, all things in this world are constantly changing. And Shinran Shonin respectfully received what Shakyamuni Buddha revealed and clearly teaches us about the truth of the Nembutsu. In this world of impermanence, the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, alone is true and real and dependable truth. And Shinran Shonin teaches us in his major work at the very beginning of the chapter on true teaching. To reveal the true teaching, it is the larger sutra of the Buddha of immeasurable life. As I just shared the story that appeared in the local newspaper, our truth, created by our self-centered judgment, is constantly changing, depending on the situations and conditions, and are not dependable things. In contrast, Shinran Shonin revealed that the Raja Sutra, which is the teaching of Amida Buddha's primal vow, expanded by Shakyamuni Buddha, is the true teaching and unchanging universal truth. Shinran Shonin further teaches us that the essence of the Raja Sutra is the name of the Buddha, Namo Amida Butsu. Regardless of changing time, location, situation, or condition, Namo Amida Butsu, which embodies Amida Buddha's primal vow, doesn't change at all. It is everlasting truth. In this Raja Sutra, Shakyamuni Buddha is preaching the teaching of primal vow of Amida Buddha to one of his disciples, Ananda. And Ananda was the Buddha's cousin and accompanied Shakyamuni Buddha as an attendant for 25 years. He had heard most teachings directly from Shakyamuni Buddha for the longest time. So Ananda is known as foremost in hearing the Buddha's teaching, the Dharma. It is said that Ananda was a very kind, and compassionate monk. At the beginning of the Sangha, only monks and nuns and men were allowed to join the Sangha. The Buddha originally didn't allow women to join the Sangha. It is said that the first lay woman who joined the Sangha was Mahaprajapati, stepmother of Shakyamuni Buddha. When she requested her to join the Buddha Sangha, Shakyamuni Buddha originally declined her request. The reason was the monks were not ready to accept women to join the Sangha. It was based on the precepts or disciplines they had to follow, and also an Indian custom for women to stay in the home as housewives. It is said that when the Buddha declined Mahaprajapati joining his Sangha, Ananda convinced Shakyamuni Buddha to allow Mahaprajapati to join the Sangha. As we all know, Shakyamuni Buddha was the enlightened one, and Ananda was his attendant. Ananda was supposed to follow the teaching and discipline Shakyamuni Buddha set forth for the Sangha to practice the Buddha Dharma and attain enlightenment. However, he was distressed and influenced by worldly matters and convinced Shakyamuni Buddha for his stepmother to join the Sangha. Also, the final period of the life of Shakyamuni Buddha shows that Ananda was very much attached to the Buddha as a physical form, and he saw the Buddha's passing with great sorrow. Ananda accompanied Shakyamuni Buddha for 25 years and heard most teaching directly from the Buddha. However, as we can see from a couple of incidents that happened during his time with Shakyamuni Buddha, Ananda could not be free from his attachments and defiled minds like us. In other words, he couldn't attain enlightenment when he was with the Buddha. And our founder Shinran Shonin paid special attention to why the Buddha, why Shakyamuni Buddha preached the teaching of Amida Buddha's primal vow to Ananda. Shakyamuni Buddha was the enlightened one, and Ananda was an attendant monk who has yet to attain enlightenment. The reason why the Buddha preached the primal vow of Amida Buddha to Ananda was because the Buddha realized Ananda would not be able to attain enlightenment by his effort and cannot be free from his defiled passions and attachments like us. The objects or listeners of Shakyamuni Buddha's Dharma message, which is a teaching of Amida Buddha's primal vow, were not aimed at saints and good or wise people, but to those who are clinging to their attachments and living a life of great pain and suffering from their defiled passions. I began my Dharma message by sharing a hymn or poem composed by Shinran Shonin. Shinran Shonin teaches us that Venerable Ananda suddenly rose from his seat and beheld the majestic radiance of Shakyamuni Buddha. Ananda was so amazed at a rare feeling of wonder emerging in the Buddha, and he realized he had never witnessed such radiance of Shakyamuni Buddha before. And this story is recorded at the beginning of the Raja Sutra. And Shinran Shonin paid special attention to Ananda's realization of Buddha's rare and auspicious state. As I mentioned earlier, Ananda had heard most teaching directly from Shakyamuni Buddha while he accompanied the Buddha for 25 years. However, only at the time when Shakyamuni Buddha delivered the teaching of Amida Buddha's primal vow, Ananda witnessed and was amazed by the radiant countenance, which was like a clear mirror that reflected light of wisdom of the Buddha. I believe the Buddha was constantly emitting brilliant and splendor radiance. However, due to the eyes constantly being covered by defiled passions like us, Ananda would not be able to realize the Buddha's great virtues. And Srila Shoni truly appreciated this fact because Ananda is representative of who we are, foolish beings full of defiled passions, hearing the Buddha Dharma, the Buddha's teaching. Like Ananda, despite hearing the teaching for a long time, and even appreciating the Buddha's teaching, we still somehow fail to actualize the teaching. We always possess our minds of calculation and doubt, so we cannot hear and receive the teaching as it is. Ananda, however, finally realized the great virtue of the Buddha when the Buddha was about to deliver the Raja Sutra. It signifies the Buddha's great compassionate mind to save those who are wandering in this world of suffering finally reached Ananda's defiled mind. Ananda's defiled mind was transformed into the Buddha's virtues, and Ananda's mind and the Buddha's mind became one. By completely accepting the Buddha's true and real mind, Ananda couldn't remain in his seat and rose from the seat by the inconceivable working of Amida Buddha. It also signifies that the radiance of countenance like a clear mirror was not only Shakyamuni Buddha, but also Ananda. Both the Buddha who was about to expand the true teaching and Ananda who was about to receive the true teaching without any doubts, praised each other and shared the joy of the great virtue, which is Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, with the utmost respect. Ananda would have instantly realized how wonderful and true the true teaching of the Amida Buddha's primal vow, the Shakyamuni Buddha was about to expand in his brilliant appearance. When we hear a Dharma message from ministers on Sundays or any other occasion, we sometimes are moved by the Dharma message that we feel like crying. But at other times, we may not feel as touched, even by hearing the same Dharma message. Ananda's special feeling of being amazed by the Buddha's appearance is similar to the emotional response that arises within us, which transcends reasoning. Ananda shared a precious moment through encountering the true teaching of Amida Buddha's primal vow, which reflects the great compassionate mind of the Buddha. We always chant Sambutsuge or Jusenge at our Dharma services, and Sambutsuge and Jusenge are part of the Raja Sutra. In this sutra, Shakyamuni Buddha expanded the significance of the Nembutsu, the teaching of Amida Buddha's primal vow, to Ananda. So when we chant the sutra and hear the Dharma message in front of the altar of Amida Buddha, we should feel as if we were directly listening to the teaching from Shakyamuni Buddha. And whenever we chant sutra and hear the teaching of Amida Buddha revealed in the larger sutra, we are like Ananda, who is a receiver of Shakyamuni Buddha's Dharma message and also Amida Buddha's primal vow. Shakyamuni Buddha appeared in this world and expanded the true teaching of Amida's primal vow to save all beings like us who continue to possess ignorance and defiled minds and cannot be free from the suffering until the last moment of our lives. Next Sunday, we will be observing Hanamatsuri, or birthday of Shakyamuni Buddha. So let us express our gratitude, appreciation to the Buddha for making us encounter the true teaching of Amida Buddha's primal vow and appreciate that our defiled minds are constantly embraced by the Buddha's great compassionate mind. Thank you very much for listening. Would you please join me in a show? Naman doubts, naman doubts, naman doubts, naman doubts, naman doubts.
Thank you, Sensei, for your Dharma message this morning. Excuse me. Next, we will have the reading of Ryogemon.
Ryogemon. We rely upon Amida Buddha with our whole heart for the enlightenment in the life to come, abstaining from all sundry practices and teachings, and giving up the trust in our imperfect view. There is no doubt that the assurance of enlightenment comes at the very moment we entrust and we recite the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, in joy and gratitude for the Buddha's compassion. We also acknowledge gratefully the benign benevolence of our founder and succeeding masters, who have led us to live in this profound teaching, and we do now endeavor to follow throughout our lives the way laid down for us. Ryoge Shutsugon. Moro moro no zogyo zashu jiriki no kokoro o furistete, isshin ni Amida nyorai warera ga kondo no ichidaiji no gosho, on tasuke sorae to tanomi moshite soro. Tanomu ichinen no toki, ojo ichijo on tasuke jijo to zonji. Kono ue no shoumyo wa gonhosha to zonji, yorokobi moshi soro. Kono on kotowari chomon moshiwake soro koto, gokai san shonin go shussei no go on. Shidai sojo no zenji shiki no asakara zaru go kanke no go on to, ありがたく存じ候。この上は定めを課せられる大のきて、一語限り守り申すべく候。ナマンダプツナマンダプツナマンダプツナマンダプツナマンダプツナマンダプツ。
Okay, so now we've got some announcements. On April the 10th, next Sunday, we will be having our Hanamatsuri Dharma service, which is the birth of Buddha. It starts at 10 o'clock, and our guest speaker will be Reverend Nobuo Haneda, who is the director of Maeda Center of Buddhism. Next, we have several study sessions. First one is Shoshin Nembutsuge. This is on Wednesday evenings from 7 to 8 p.m. First session is April the 13th, and this is led by Reverend Takata. Then we have Saturday session, also the same class. This is from 11 to 12, and this first session is April the 9th, also by Reverend Takata. Next, we have Eco Sangha Seminar. This is on April the 9th, Saturday, from 1 to 2:30 via Zoom. And the guest speaker is Reverend Don Castro, who is a BCA Minister Emeritus and the founder of the Eco Sangha movement. Then we have Buddhism Beyond Mindfulness. The next session is April the 16th from 10:30 to noon. Now, all of these are on our website, so you'll be able to see more details. Excuse me. Now, this is a little early, but we're going to have a Southern District Conference on Saturday, June the 25th, hosted by Orange County Buddhist Church from 9 to 1. And the guest speaker is the former bishop, Reverend Kodo Umezu. Now, if you plan to attend in person, there's an early bird registration of $25 due by April the 25th. And then anything after that is $30. Now, online is also $25, and this is due by June the 17th. We'll have more information on our website. I'm sure this will be up hopefully this week. Now, if you do plan to go, please issue your check to, actually issue it to West LA because they do want just one check per temple. But if you're going independently, then make your check out to OCBWA. But as I mentioned, we'll have the information uploaded onto our system. Next, Yoga at the Temple is Mondays from, second and fourth Mondays from 7 to 8 p.m. This is by Zoom. And then also, finally, we have our West LA t-shirts with our new logo available, $20 each, and we have crew neck and V-neck styles. Now, before we close, I do want to mention that for anyone that's new to our temple, Reverend Takata will have a Q&A session immediately afterwards, so he'll have that in the back of the temple today. And let's see here. Oh, just wanted to remind you that we will have Dharma reflection session immediately following the service. So now that does conclude our service for today. Thank you for those of you attending in person, and also for those of you out in Zoom land. So we will be taking a short 5-minute break to set up for DRS, and we will see you back then. All right, thank you. Have a great week.